Hello and welcome to day 8 of this full stack shift taking application. So today we are going to look at middlewares, and middlewares will help us to know if the user has authenticated or not, because we don't want any user to be able to access any data from our database without authentication, because if we do this, then it means authentication will be of no use. And if you come here, when we are logging in here in our, let me go into our route, and then out here you can see we are generating this access token. So by generating this token, we are doing JSON Web Token and then sign, and then we are using here ID, and we are storing ID here from our user. Also we are going to also store the role here as from our user, and also here you can see we are signing using this JWT, and you can see here also this JWT or this access token will expire in 10 days. So this is when the user is logging in, that's when we are creating this access token, and then this access token is also sent to the front end, and also the information with other information into our front end, so that now this access token we can use it to know if the user has logged in or not, and if this token is valid or not. So what we'll do is, first of all, let's look at what is middlewares. So I'm going to go into Google and say middlewares in Node.js here. So let's look at what is middlewares in Express. Let's look at Express, and in here we are going to look at this documentation here. So here you can see they are telling us like middleware function are functions that have access to the request object, the response object, and the next function in the application request response cycle. The next function is a function in the Express router, which when invoked execute the middleware succeeding the current middleware. So middleware function can perform the following tasks: execute any code, make changes to the request and respond object, end the request response cycle, call the next middleware in the stack. If the current middleware function does not end and request response cycle, it must call next to pass the control to the next middleware function. Otherwise, the request will be left hanging. The following figure shows the element of the middleware function call. So like this here, they are giving you like an example. So here you can see that they are giving us this express application here. You can see here they are giving us HTTP method for which the middleware function applies. So you can see here, and also you can see here paths that they are specifying here, and then the middleware function inside here. And you can see now middleware function has a next here, and this next is a callback, and this next function will be called to execute the next middleware. So I know this can be confusing at first, and I want us to do it in application in a practical way, so that you may be able to understand what we mean. So now what we can do is that we am going to come here into my application, and inside this backend here I'm going to add middlewares. So I just say middlewares, yeah, and here you can use middlewares to do different things. In this case, I'm going to use middleware to verify token. So I'll say verify token.js, and in here the first thing that we need to do is to first of all import JWT, and here I'm going to get it from now JSON Web Token. So this is JSON Web Token like that, and again yeah, we need now to create the function. So const verify token, so verify token here, and then here we need to create our middleware. So here I'll just say request response and next. So here middleware should have these three, or it should have this next function, so that it will be executed if the what we are trying to do exceeds or succeeds. So here I'll just also export. So I'll just say module dot export, and then verify. Just import this or export this verify token, just like that. So that is it. So now what we need to do is to create this function here. So first thing first, because we are verifying the token, we need to if we have the token, and most of the time we send the token through our headers. So I'll just say const, and then I'll say token like this, and then I will say if maybe or I can add, or I can say auth token, and then here I can say request dot headers, and then dot token, and in here I can be able to I'll say if in the headers we have a token. So let's say auth header or auth token, like that. So here I'm going to now get the header. So I just say, or I'm going to get the token. So I'm going to say auth token, or I would say token, and then here I will say auth token dot split here, and then I'm going to split using the space, and then I access now the first element, the second element. And if this, now I need to verify this token, so I just say jwt dot verify. So we need to verify if this token is correct, and to verify we need to give the token. So I'll just give the token, and also I'm going to also give the secret key that we were using to sign our token. So I'm just first of all going to import .env, and here I'm going to say require .env like that. And in here now I can be able to say process.env, and then jwt sec, something of the sort, because this is the one that we were using here in our auth. This is what we were using to sign our token, this secret key from our .env file. You can see in .env we have this jwt sec. This is one which this is the one that we are verifying, we are using to sign. And now to verify also we need to use it. So when we do this, when we give the token, when we are verifying, and then we give the token and then the secret key, now we have this callback function, and this callback function should give us two things. Either they give us the data, or they give us the user, so, or the data or the error, that is. So in this case, because our data is our user, then we will get it when we verify. So here now if we have the error, let's check if we have the error. So if we have the error here, now what we'll do, we'll just send that error. So I'd say yes dot status, and then 403 for forbidden. So 403 is for forbidden, and then I'll say JSON here, because that means that our token is not correct. And here I'm going to send this message, token is not valid, like that. And what else? So now also I'm going to, if now we have like the user, or our token is right, then we need to say just assign request.user. So our request will have a user, and then we assign it to the user, and the information that the user here will give us. So the information that will be here in our user is the same here that we are storing in the token when we are signing our token, when we are logging in. Remember, when we are logging in here, there is information that we are saving in our token. So here, if you sign, you can see we are storing the ID in our token and also the role for the user. So that is what we get when we verify. So that is it. So the other thing that we need to do is let's look here. So when we do this, now we need to call here. We go and call next, because we need to go to the next function and proceed, because if you don't call this next, it will block your application. So here also I need to, let me see, if we don't have the auth header also, so if we don't have the auth header, so, or the auth token, here you can see this auth token, we just send the error. So rest status and then 4141 here, and then .json, and then here I'm going to do you or send you have not been you are not let me see here, you are not authenticated, here, like that. So that is it, and let me format this information here, or this code, and then here I'm going to now save this file. So this is the one that will be helping this function here. We are calling it a middleware, and also here before I forgot, we need to do .env and then config. So this function here, verify token, this is our middleware for checking if our token is correct and if we have a token. So here you can see I'm checking in my request, in my headers here, if I have a token, and if I have that token, I need to, because this one in our headers here will come as a data with a token. So that's what we are calling auth token, and then inside this auth token data we need to extract the token. So this one we split, and then we get the first element, the first second element here, that is the token, and then after that, now we try to verify. To verify our token, we need to give this JWT verify function a token and also our secret that we used to sign our token. And then after that, we will get either the error or the user. If we get the error, then we need to send this error token is not valid. And then if it is, we have a valid token, then we give this request.user, we assign it the user, and then we call this next. We go to the next task here, or the next thing that we wanted. And if we don't have the auth token here, meaning we don't have any information here in our header, then you see here we'll send this error, you are not authenticated. So you might be wondering, how are we going to use this verify token? And this is simple, because let's see, if we are maybe say in here in our auth token, or in our client, let me just go in our shift. So what we'll do to make sure that this information, so let's say for example this add shift here, what we'll do, or what will happen is that here, when you try to add this shift, you need to make sure that this user who want to add or the admin who want to add the shift, he must, or she must be able, or she must be, or she must have authenticated, and to do that we need to check the token, because remember, when the user has logging in, we send the token to our front end or to the user. Now that token, when he or she trying to access our backend or any other data in our database, we need to check. So to use that function as a middleware, then we'll come here and call it. So just say verify token. You can see this function is ready here, and then here I'm going to first of all add this token here. So I'm going to add it here, verify token, and here you can see we have imported it. So here, first of all, when we access this route, it will be going first of all to check the verify token, and then it will check for the token. If we don't have the token, then it means that it won't be able to go through this other part of this functionality. So because this now means that this user is not authenticated. So we can do that for all information that we want the user to authenticate first to be able to access, like also here. So everywhere we can use it. So I'm not going to do this right now, because I want to use this when we are testing our backend, because we are going to test our backend before now we start building our front end. So I'm hoping that you are getting this, what we are explaining here, and to just do a little bit of let's say testing, we can go back here and we have this route for testing. So you can see here a test route here. So if right now you come here into localhost and then 800, you can see we have this 800. Let's look for 800. So let me first of all run this 8800 and then test route here. When you do this, you can see it is telling us test is okay. So right now, if we apply this function for verifying our token, so I'll just say verify token like this one here, and if we check up here, you can see we have imported it. So here I first of all remove this here, and now actually here you can see where I used the shift route. I think I never used this here. So let me copy this and then paste it here. So this is shifts before I forget. So and this one is shift route here. So I forgot to do that, sorry. So like that. Yeah, so now here you can see now we are verifying now. So the token before we test this route. So when we come here back and try to access now this test route, be keen and see what will happen here. So when we try to do that, you can see you're being told you are not authenticated. This is because we are checking for a token, and in here I have not sent the token that is from our front end here. So we need to provide the token so that it can be verified, and when we verify that token, then it means that we are authenticated, and that's how we'll be able to access our routes. So here I'll remove this I'll be able to remove this function here. So I'm going to remove it like that, and then I'm going to save it. So I want to show you something. So let's go back into our middleware. So you can see we are using this function here before we start looking at request and response, and that's why we are also we are using this next. So if we have a token and we have verified that that token is correct, then it means that we call this next so that we can be able now to move to the other part, so that we can be able to move now to other part of request and response. If the token is not correct or it is not, we have no token, then it means that we will not call this next, and we will be stuck here in token is not valid. We are not going to proceed to the other part here, which is this one, the part where we are sending this test is okay. So I'm hoping you're understanding. So I don't want this video to be long, because we are going to now, from the next part, we are going to test and to test our application and then proceed to our front end. So have a great day. Remember to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell.